which when you're on bigger jump rings, that's great. If you go down to some of the smaller, finer jump rings, you're smothering the jump ring. But I love my flat nose pliers. I'm going to use my fingers to begin with, and then I'll progress to those, only because I'm going to show you how to do it with the supersized jump rings, and then we'll do it in reality with some realistic jump rings. Jump rings, Helm's weave you can do with most jump rings, okay? Some weaves you can't do because of what they call the aspect ratio, which is basically the number of jump rings you can get inside one jump ring. That's basically what the aspect ratio is. So it's how much bulking together you can do. So to do, you know, you can put so many in, and then it's too full. You won't get any more in. But Helm's weave is really forgiving. So we've got a couple of different sizes there. That's a 7mm inner diameter with a 5mm inner diameter. That's a 9mm inner diameter, again with a 5mm. So you can, and this is quite a fine jump ring. They're about the same gauge. You can do it with a heavier one. The one I've used there, I'm just going to pinch it for a minute. So you can see here they're a thicker gauge. So these will be a 1mm, and they are a 7mm inner diameter, as against the 9mm and the 5mm. But you can use a finer gauge if you want. Absolutely no problem. So this, and also you can use closed jump rings when you're doing this as well. Not for all of them. Obviously, you've got to open some jump rings. Your smaller jump rings can be closed, or you can have the bigger jump rings, one or the other. So you have two sizes. One of them can be closed and one of them has to be open. It doesn't matter which way round. It just changes how you make it. So I'm going to pop those out of the way and we're going to get going. So I've got my two different sizes of jump rings. So there are, like I say, there are a couple of ways to start this. You basically want to have your, I'm going to build it for you. So you have your two jump rings there, and you put one in the middle, and then you have two jump rings this side with one. So this is the basic construction, and then you have your smaller jump rings in there holding these four together. So your small jump ring has got to be able to cope with four of the bigger jump rings, and that's the only issue you have with your aspect ratio. You can use two in the middle, you can use three in the middle. So this one has two in the center, two of the smaller ones. This one has three. Depending on how much room you've got, depending on how much movement you want to give, can change that. So if you've got jump rings at home, then you've almost certainly got the size of jump rings you need to do Helm's weave. If not, we've got some we've got some sterling silver ones. Fantastic. We've got different ones going on the website. Pop them in. Tom's busy loading everything up like mad. So have a look at what's on there if you haven't got any to do it, or if you fancy doing a sterling silver one. How amazing would that look? And then that would match your sterling silver of your carving, and it would look amazing. Okay, so how do we build it? So generally I'm going to have two of my bigger ones and two of my bigger ones, and we're going to attach the small ones to it. Like I say, there's two ways to do this, so I'll take you through both. So we're going to add two of those. These obviously will be very loose because they're not normal size jump rings. Okay, so let's pull those out. So that's your basic. Okay, so we'd have a chain, we'd have another two there, and we're going to add those two on. So you're doing a 2x2 basically. Two jump rings in two jump rings in two jump rings. So you are ending up, don't flip them. It will build up very quickly, Chloe. So once you've got a little bit started, like I say, there are a couple of different ways. These I am opening the smaller ones. If you've got a smaller, if your jump rings are only 3mm, for instance, then I would suggest opening the big ones to thread them on. So you can make that in either way. Once you've got there, we need the jump ring that's in the middle. So if I fetch that back, conveniently in 3 different colours, the silvers are our double ones every time. So these are the silver there. Then this one I'm going to put through is where we've got the copper, and then the gold, we've got 3 gold ones in the middle. It doesn't matter whether you have 3, 4, 2, it's how many will fit. Okay, so we're going to feed these. So this wants to go under there. I'm going to try and do it while it's flat. And then around there. So let me shut that properly. Okay, so it goes between the 2s and around there. So that's now sort of holding that and giving you your parallel. So if I hold that up, can you see how that's forming? So if I turn that sideways, you can see your 2, 1, 2, and then that's in there. So because these are so large, that will slip down. So then we need to put one in the next one. So if I try and do it up here, so you're going to go between those 2 big ones, around the copper ones in the middle, and through the next 2. So if you wanted, you could build your chain to the length you want, doing the 2 by 2, and then fill in the middle afterwards. Again, the smaller the jump rings are you're using, the more awkward that's going to be to do, because you're trying to sort of manipulate, and it's quite fiddly when you get smaller ones. But you can see that's built up in no time at all. You could keep going with that and it would build up. Obviously these are big sized. So the other way of doing it is as you go along. So we've got to there, so we're going to add our 2 jump rings on there and our next 2 big ones. Okay. If you get that, by the way, it's just that your jump rings have flipped over. There you go. And then before we add any more, we're going to slide that through there, which is connected, but this one is loose, so we can actually just duck it round quite easily. So it doesn't have to be connected. And then we can just add the next one on. So there's different ways of doing it. The other way you can do it is you're adding these in and catching those. I find that a bit more fiddly. So I'd try one of those 2 methods first and see how you get on. So I'm going to do it now with some proper size jump rings. So you'll get the idea of how it fits better, because that's obviously all a bit. What I will say before I go on is this you can actually turn into circles. So you can create sort of bezel settings. So if you turn that into a circle with another jump ring there, if you lift these up, you can put them either side of a gemstone, and then you can connect all those up, and that's a different way of using Helms weave. So there's loads and loads of different things you can do with this. So I'm going to take those out of the way. So we've now got some smaller jump rings, and I think I'm going to go smaller than those. Let me just grab another. I've got so many jump rings here. Let's get those out. So this might be too small. Yes, I think it is. Let's stick with what we've got. So we've got a 7mm inner diameter. These might be a little bit big, but we'll see. So you want to have some of these closed and some of these you're going to open, but we can open them as we go along and it's fine. These you're now using, I have a bad habit of using my nail to open them. You can get, I don't know whether we've still got them on the website or whether we sold out. You can get, it's a bit like having a thimble on, and it's got it's a jump ring opener, and it's got a few slots, and basically you'd pick it up, twist. I think it's the jump ring opener. I think we looked last time, didn't we, Tom? We have got the toolkits though, haven't we? Cool. This toolkit's fab. So you got those 3 pliers, plus you get your cutters, plus you get your round nose pliers, and amazingly you also get some nylon pliers. So that's really fabulous. That's a fantastic kit to have. So I'm using these. So okay, come on. So we're going to start off with we want our 2 of these. Oh, toolkits on your screen. And we're going to close it. I'm just going to double check. So the important thing is here that they fit in there. Now these don't, so I will use my smaller ones. Because I picked the wrong bag up. This is what happens when you do live. I've got my mini travelling bag of jump rings here, and I've pulled the wrong ones out. They'll do. I know, Tom, you can't get the staff, can you? It's a shame, you know. Those are the same size. I thought they were oh, I know where they are. I know where they are. It's all right. It's all right. I know where they are. They're in here. Got them. I put them there so that I have access to them straight away. And then I couldn't find them. It's an age thing, Chloe. It's an age thing. There we go. So you can see these are a little bit, not massively smaller, but just enough. So now this jump ring, if I take one of these closed ones, this jump ring will fit in the middle of that without any trouble, and that's what you need. So that's the main thing about these, is they'll fit inside one of the jump rings. It can be a tight fit, it doesn't matter, but you need to be able to get them to fit. So let's start that again, shall we? So we're going to pick up 2 of our jump rings. There we go. We actually need four of the big ones going through there. So once you've picked up your 2, this is what I say, you can use whichever. Gosh, I don't often use the bent nose pliers. It is personal taste, but I thought I'd give it a go, because a lot of chainmailers, it's better for turning them like that. You can pick up your open jump ring, pop it through there, and just close it. Pick up the next one, pop it through there, and close it. I would recommend you either have a spare piece of wire or a larger jump ring, just something that you can pop through there to give you something to hold on to. Oh gosh, that's a tight piece of wire. That's a 1.5 mil. There you go. It just gives you something to hang on to. Also, you can use, which Mandy suggested last time, you can use cable ties or twists. You know, the bag twists you get sometimes, especially holding presents together. You know, those ties. So we've got our start now. So we're going to put and I'm going to use a silver one to put through there. So we're going to go through those 2, come round, and then we want to go lift that one up and around there and close. Again, I'm using my finger to close. You should be using a jump. Well, it's personal choice. So you can see how we're getting that style. And I really like mixing the metals with this because it really is so statementy. So now this is where I said to you, if you want to put the small ones on there, it starts becoming a bit more fiddly. So I'm going to open these and put the big ones on, and I would suggest if you've got smaller jump rings, I would suggest you do the first method, which is to create your 2x2 chain. That'll be the quickest way. Create your chain first, because it's easier to open and close the big ones than the little ones. There's that. There's that one. Right. So what I'm going to do is carry on making a chain. So I'm going to pick up these 1, 2 and 2. So we're going 2 by 2, so I've picked up another 2 of there, and we're just going to carry on for a little bit, just to get a little bit, because just to give you the idea. So we've gone through those 2, and we're going to pick up the other 2 there. You get into a rhythm of doing it. So we've now got our 2 sticking out, so pick up the next 2, go through those 2, pick up the next 2. Make sure you're going the right direction. If you go the wrong direction when you're picking them up, let me show you that. So I'm going to pick up the next 2 with this one. So we're creating our chain here. Oh, we've got a message coming in. Oh, you might have, oh, hang on. Hi all, absolutely love Helms Weave. It looks so pretty and complicated in different colours, but it's so easy to do. Highly recommend it. And that's from Mandy. That's my mate. She's absolutely wonderful. She sent some chain mail. She does a lot of the Comic Cons and the sci-fi conventions. And she's a big Star Wars fan, not Star Wars, Stargate fan. And Bones. We like a lot of the same TV shows. And she'd sent some chain mail off. I can't remember. I think it's the chap from Bones. Was it the one from Bones? And she sent him a load of chain mail, and he's been putting it on his blog. They've had quite a backwards and forwards going. It's fabulous, brilliant. Yeah. So thank you very much for your message. So I was going to say about twisting. So when you've got 2 in your 2, but you've got this spare 2, if you put it the wrong way, so if you go in that way, you can get it twisted the wrong way. So the jump rings are going in 2 different directions. Let me pull that, and I don't think I managed to do it there. So just be careful that you make sure they're going both the same way. So you see how they're sitting right. If you've got one the wrong way, it's very obviously the wrong way. So now we're going to go through 1, 2, 3. We'll pop 3 of the silver ones in, and then I think you'll have the idea of how to do this Helms weave. So this is one of my favourite weaves because it is stunning. Another message coming in, and this is from a collector in Cornwall. Just cut a load of rings with my Durston, fantastic, and put them in a tumbler, ready for this. Oh, weave, brilliant. Oh, please send it into the Wall of Fame when you've done it. Let's have a look. Well done you for doing your own jump rings. And this is it Brenda from Powys? Sorry, it's a bit far away from me. Powys. Hope I can get this, as I'm finding doing chainmail very hard. This is a great one to start off with. Do your 2x2 chain. So you've only got 2 different sizes of jump wings. If you've got different colours, it can look fantastic, like Mandy said, but also it helps you really see. So you've got 2 colours there, and then we're going to put, well, I haven't got a 3rd colour, I'm going to put the silver big ones. 2 sizes, the gold and the silver one size, and then you've got the little silvers. Slide it through your first one, come round the corner, slide it between those 2. If I put that there, can you see that? Can I show it to 2, Chloe? Oh, is it better on? Is it which one? Okay, we're just going to try and get really close in for you, so you can see where that's going. But oh, you can see it coming between there, can't you? Between those 2 gold ones, and then you're going to fasten it shut. So all the time you're sort of putting this between, because you've got the 2 gold ones, you're then having this single silver one through the middle. So I'll do that again for you. We're going to go between the 2 gold ones, around the little silver ones, and then between the next 2 gold ones. Hang on, there we go. and then close your jump ring. Now when you're closing your jump ring, just make sure it's closed properly. Some of these jump rings have been opened and closed a lot because I demo with them, so but make sure when you're doing it you take your time and you close them properly. Then we're going to take that one and do the next one through, and you can do this for bracelets, earrings, necklaces obviously, which is what we're doing here. Let's put that one, so it's got to go around the two little ones and through there. Now I've got two spare little ones on the end there, so I'm just going to hold those out of the way. Make sure you're coming between those two and close. So you've got this chain that you've built up, which is your helms weave, which is great. Now to attach the pendant to this, oh sorry, I missed that message. Sorry. Is that Jeanette in Yorkshire? Hi Jeanette. I started chainmail making for armour when in the Knights Templar before I made jewellery out of it in silver and gold wire. Fabulous, Jeanette. That of course is where chainmail comes from. Chainmail was an armour used in the medieval times, but using chainmail goes way back. And you've got European, you've got Chinese, Oriental chainmail, Persian chainmail, Byzantine chainmail, European, Celtic. Everyone, basically, it was a protection. So the most basic used to be a leather jerkin, top, whatever, and then they'd sew rings onto it, literally just sewn onto it, and then they started linking the rings, and then each different area would develop their own style of what it looked like, and that's where the different varieties of chainmail came from. And then it got picked up, and it's so huge. When I started making jewellery, I actually started with chainmail before I'd done anything else. Well, no, when I was a child I used to do plastic beads and all that, but when I was an adult and doing jewellery, chainmail, I was going to be massive chainmail maker. But then I discovered wire. And I'm afraid chainmail was a bit, I found chainmail then a bit restrictive. I then went back to it after a while, and I found the same with seed beads. When I started seed beading, I found it restrictive, and then I went back with it, and I don't think I had the confidence in the early days to do my own thing with it. Now, I'll take a weave and then tweak it and make it up and add things to it and go, oh, well, that's an Azataza weave. I don't know what it's called, but it's based, it might have been based on a Celtic weave that I've then tweaked and added to and turned it into something else, and I'm rubbish at naming things, so Azataza weave number 3. Anyway, so when you've finished your chain, to attach the clasp, I tend to do it when I've got the 2 here. So I would attach my clasp with either a single jump ring to the clasp or the clasp directly. I've made my own clasp there, so it's just attached. Sorry, it's just attached directly to it. If we've got time, I'll show you how to do that earlier. I'll show it earlier. Just call me Doctor Who. But no, you can attach any clasp to it, or a jump ring to it, or seed bead onto it. Stitch it onto leather. Looks fantastic. If you've got a leather bracelet and you sew that on, so if you've got a leather band, you can sew that on start and end, and it looks amazing. And I would keep it in more of a copper colour. And if you sell your jewellery, that's gents jewellery every day. It's Alison jewellery as well, but you get a lot of gents jewellery. So we're then going to go to the single. So we've got one of the silver ones, the single ones. So when you're starting, the ones who are saying they're just starting, I would do this if you can in different colours, because it makes it very easy to distinguish. So the easiest way to do chainmail to begin with is to do colours, and a lot of written tutorials and people demonstrating will demonstrate with different colours, and then you can see the progression through it. Right, now the problem with some of our jump rings, or most of our jump rings, is finding they're so good that you can't find where they've opened. I've lost the join. Where is it? There. There it is. So I'm just going to open that, pop on my pendant. Now I am going to use the pliers to close that because I've run out of space. There we go. And I'm just going to use that and close it up. And there we'll have our chain. You could use it as a bracelet and have that as a dangle down on your bracelet if you wanted. You know, but on the main piece, it's on the chain, and I think it looks lovely. And it causes, because of the weight of the jadeite, which is incredible, it gives you that real V forming. I haven't put it back on the bust very well, have I? Have I twisted it? Hang on. No, it's all right. I'm just untwisting it. When I put it back, I think I twisted it. There you go. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? So that's your Helms weave. It looks fabulous. You can double it. Well, I won't complicate it, but you can have a play. Start with that. It's a great beginner's weave. So really have a good go and check out what jump rings we've got. So now you've done that one, we're going to do this. Now this is a bit of, so this is based on a European. So it would be an 8-in-1. Now what the European jump rings, and while I'm talking about it, I'm going to take out, I'm going to undo my my Helms weave so I can do this. Because I didn't fetch my big ones that I normally use, I had to make some earlier. So these are actually 1.5 wire. So if you want to practice, and you've got some 1.5 or 1.25 wire, get yourself a mandrel. These were actually made wrapping it around a hammer, which was on the wall behind us. So, you know, use whatever to make your bigger ones. And it just gives you a great way to practice without having the fiddliness of smaller jump rings. I'm going to call it fiddliness. Right, there we go. So this is actually quite a nice, again, a nice easy project to do, but incorporates the gemstones more. And what it is, we've got a line of chainmail that runs through the middle here. So all the way through the middle, we've got this line of chainmail, and then we've got two lines of beads, which are attached via, if I turn that round, you can see they're on beading thread, and then it all gets crimped together. So almost the chainmail is sort of a decoration between two strands of gemstones. But you can build it as you go along, but it's easier to do this middle strip first. So it's very easy. So like I said, it's an 8-in-1. So what does that mean? So it means we've got two different sizes. The size of jump rings you're going to need for this is going to depend on the size of your beads. So this is just a slight awkwardness between a 7 in a diameter and a 5 in a diameter. So it's somewhere between the two for the 8mm gemstones, and then whether you want to use ovals or rounds, I've used them both in this. You can use either. It doesn't matter. This is why it was difficult for me to put the exact sizes, because everybody likes it slightly different. I will post when I go home. I'll pop on my website the exact ones I've used for each of these projects. But I like to empower you to do your own thing. A bit of trial and error, absolutely. So we want 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, Tom, what was that? Okay. So we've got 8-in-1. Now, so Japanese chainmail is made up of 2 different sizes, and they come in all sorts of different varieties. And basically, that's an 8-in-1 because there's 8 jump rings in one bigger one. So every time you have the bigger jump ring, you have 8. You can have 4 in one, so each of those will be single. You can have 6 in one, you can have 12 in one. And that's where it becomes important for the number of jump rings you can fit in the bigger one. So this is where what's called the aspect ratio becomes important. But you don't have to worry about the aspect ratio specifically, you can have a go. I don't think when I've been doing it, I've ever actually worked out what's the aspect ratio before I've started. I've got some jump rings and gone, that won't fit in there, therefore I either need narrower jump rings or I need a bigger jump ring. So some weaves won't work outside a certain range. JPL is one, Jens Pin, Links. I always forget what that is. JPL. That has to have a specific ratio to work. Byzantine needs a certain ratio to hold its shape. If you want to have a look at Byzantine, go back to the 3rd. I think I did it on the 3rd, the Byzantine. So have a look at that. But you can do looser Byzantine. It just doesn't hold as well in shape, but it will drop if you put a weight on it. Anyway, so we've got our basic. We now need to add on to this. So we want to create a chain. The 2 on the side we're kind of going to ignore for now. So we're going to pick up another one, and I'm going to run out of jump rings. And because we've already got 2, we need to add on another 6. Isn't that lucky? I've got 6 here. So we're going to add on those 6. So now when we spread them out, we've got 2 and 2, and then 2 either side. So we've got 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, and 2 at the side. So you keep going on like that to make the chain, and we'll go to the smaller ones in a minute. And then in the middle of that, we've got some bigger gemstones in here, I think. And again, I normally use big wooden gemstones with these, and they work very well. So what we then do is we thread on our jump rings. So we put a jump ring there, through the beading thread, through there, through those, and to the next one. So you go all the way down the line one side, and then you'd go all the way down the line the other side. So that's the theory on how you make this chain. Now we're going to make it in the proper sizes. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side. As you can see again with the bigger jump rings, it's clearer to show it with you, but it obviously doesn't hold its shape because they're massive. Another way to practice, if you want to practice with them, is actually to use shower curtain rings. The sort that have a sort of plastic thing. They're about that big, but if it helps get the idea, then that's great, and you can practice with them. So we'll come down to these. So we want to have, in each one of these, so we're going to open him, and then we're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then close it. So we want 2 of these closed ones. They're going to start our first lot. And this is where you can use, so all of these can be closed jump rings, apart from the ones in the middle. So if you've got a load of closed jump rings, I know we've done some absolutely amazing deals on closed jump rings, which are fabulous. So we want to have 2 from the previous one, and then 1, 2, 3, so that's 5. Let's fetch some of these down. 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then close it. Now you have to be a little bit more careful with this one. We only want 2 to go onto the next stage, but we need 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. We just want these 2 in the middle. So it's not very complicated, but you just have to be aware you only want those middle 2. You still want the 2 top and bottom. Okay, so we pick those 2 up, and then again we want 1. You're connected together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's our 8, and then we can shut our jump ring. So again, we'll go a little bit further along. We've got quite a bit of time, so we want the middle 2, and then we're going to come around here. I'm terrible We need some sort of magnet that can stop me knocking the board, Chloe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you want to do more and your middle jump ring will take more, then you can have maybe 3 either side, 3 through the middle. You can play with patterns. It depends on how big your jump rings are and whether they're going to fit with your rounds. We had some, could you imagine doing this with sterling silver and the amazing nephrite we had on earlier, the green? What do you reckon, Tom? If we use those, did we have 8mm nephrite on? Not nephrite, it is nephrite, isn't it? The dark sage green. Oh, you can do. If you did that with some sterling silver jump rings, that would make one high-end piece of chainmail. So I'll add another one on the end, but this time I'm going to pick up those 2 in the middle. 2 there, pick up the next 2. And then leave those 2. So I only want 2 either side. So I want 2 that side. Oh, well done, Chloe. Yes, thank you. North, south, east, and west. So if we're taking this, that's because I'm rubbish at directions. We're always going. If we're going west to east, we're ignoring north and south jump rings. So you're always ignoring top and bottom when we're just going straight in the middle, or you're going north to south, and we're ignoring the other side. Okay. So we've now got our chain. Obviously, you'd want to do it, because you could use this as a choker. You could, oh gosh, that would look nice, wouldn't it? Oh, now hang on, I'd not thought of that. That's an inspiration. How about having a choker of this, especially if you could do it in the jade, and then having that down below the choker? That would look amazing. That would look fabulous, especially if these were the green nephrite. Wow, all the white we had. Amazing, fabulous. So now we need to do a bit of threading. So we've got, that's threading, not shredding. We've got some beading thread. So we're going to just wind this on here. Let me attach it. There we go. I tend to avoid cutting anything until I absolutely have to, because it reduces the waste. You know, if you cut that off, you've got to make sure you've got enough, so you have too much, which means you're going to waste, I don't know, maybe 6 inches. Doesn't sound a lot, but I don't like doing it. So let me pop these through here. Take these off. So each of these is going to sit alongside. I'm going to put a jump ring on the end there to hold on to. In fact, I'm going to put one of these big ones on this end. So that's where your clasp would attach to. Okay. Well, no, it wouldn't. You wouldn't have those on the end. Scratch that. Scratch that. Because we're using the beading thread. So I'm going to pick up another 2 of those jump rings. Where did that one go? I dropped it. Stop hiding. Come on, out you come. There we go. So then I'm going to pick those 2 up in the middle. So it's like the same for both sides. And then I'm going to put that one on, and then I need to close that one. So I'll put it on. It's very important with these that you make sure they're properly shut, because otherwise the beading thread is going to just pull through them. Let me go into there, and that'll just give us something to hold on to. Okay, so we're going to go now and add on a bead. Then we're going to pick up, and let's call it the north. We're going to pick up the 2 north ones there. Then we're going to add on another bead. I know, threading beads, scintillating. These are, can't remember what these are called, peanut something, I think, but they have little black flecks, which is very annoying when you're trying to find the hole. Right, so you know I was saying you have to be careful of your 4 and your north and south, otherwise you end up with 1 there and 3 there. So just to show you what not to do, 1's up there, 3's down here, so I'll have to take one of these off here, and then I put it back on the top. So it's nothing worse than I've got to undo it and then reconnect it. There we go. But it's just time consuming. So we've got our first one on, pick up our next one, go through our next 2 north ones, 1, come on. If you've got a tying station, a handy, anything like that, or well, 1 or 2 handies, then you can clip these into place either side, and then it becomes so much easier to add it on. Do all the top ones or all the bottom ones because they're hanging down, then turn it over and do the other side. So you might find, oh, we do need handy back. The handy. So I think it's officially called a helping hands thing, but it became the handy. I think after the guy who was on Big Brother, one of the first Big Brothers became handy. The Scouser, yeah, the chap from Liverpool who won and donated his prize to a little girl in his neighbourhood who was poorly and needed treatment. So that's a by the by. That's the one and only time I watched Big Brother, actually. Sorry. So yeah, completely random little story, but I think that's why Handy Andy became Handy Andy. Okay, so you can see now how this is holding into shape. It's starting to come together now. It looked a mess, but it's starting to come together. So we go down through there. I do find chainmail very therapeutic. Once you've got a weave, once you've got it down, I think it's a repetition. Most chainmail is about repetition. So once you've got that pattern, that weave, it's great. I think the hardest weave for me to get my head round was a Persian weave, which is a beginner's weave. I just could not for the life of me do it. I don't know why. So you can see now, if I lift that up, whoops, it's okay. That's okay. Then you can see how that's going. Now, if you made a necklace, that would drape beautifully. So, and you could add whatever you wanted from the ones dangling down. So we need to put the gemstones through. So what I would do, this would then be, use a crimp bead to attach it either directly to your clasp. I know, I always say don't do that. And if you can avoid it, do avoid it. So you'd crimp it to another jump ring. And then that would become part of your, that would be attaching to your clasp. I am, however, just going to spin it round for ease of this demonstration. So you would attach that to the clasp or leave it free. Have we got any of those, you know, the little bead springies we used to have? The end stops, not the end tips. They're like, in fact, I think they're called end stop. I think they are called bead end stops. I might have one. They are invaluable if you're waiting to do. Oh, that's the needle. Don't stick your finger in there. I usually have one in my little bag. Ah, there it is. Got one. So they're these little things. They're great. The little spring, and what you'd do, so assuming we'd cut that, we'd put that in there. It means your beads aren't going to fall off the end. We'd start our next piece, and then we'd put that in there as well, and then you'd go and crimp them afterwards. And it just means nothing's going to fall off, which is brilliant. It's so secure. They're fabulous. If we haven't, can we fetch those back with Handy Andy, please? Oh, definitely need them for old school next week. Then we're going to go through that one. It's amazing how you use tools time and time again, and then you sort of forget about them for a while, and then you do something and you're like, oh, if only I had. Oh, I have got. And then you remember what you've got. It's always worth having a bit of a tidy out or a clear out, just to check, or a reorganisation, and then you'll find stuff that, well, I do it with gemstones as well. I didn't know I had that, you know, and then it's like, oh, that might be used for. Now you can see this is more open. These are slightly smaller than the other beads, but you can see how this pattern builds up. And we go through that one there. Come on. And then we've got that one on the end, and that one's in the wrong place, so I'm just going to make sure that's off. Okay, and then we're going to feed that through to there. So there's our basic bracelet. And whether you finish it, oh, I need one on the other side. Whether you finish it with the beads, I would finish it with the beads that side. So you could make this with smaller jump rings, although this will work. So now you would crimp these onto, I would do them onto another jump ring. There, so I've got some crimp beads somewhere in here in my little box. My little box of tricks, my little travelling. It's amazing how much I cram into that little box. Yeah, it's one of our, we had a box of findings, and I just keep adding more and more into it, and it's crammed full, but it's great for carrying around. So we're just going to have a couple of crimp beads. And I was saying earlier, someone stopped me in the doctor's once and asked me, how did I get crimp beads to work, because they couldn't get them to work. Well, I was in the waiting room rather than the actual. It wasn't the doctor, but yeah, she was in the pharmacy. She was lovely. And it's still my doctor's, so I haven't seen her. But so I'm going to slide those on. So again, if you want to use wire end tips, you can. I just slide them on there. You've got the part with the tongue in it. So if I close that, can you see how that there's got a little tongue sticking up, and that's just an oval. So you go in that one first, and then we go in that one second. So the first one will cause it to become a little C. Whoops! Oh dear. So there you go. You can see that's become a little C. And then we're going to pop that through there and squidge it shut. So it becomes a tube, but you've trapped, and make sure your jump ring's shut before you pull it. You've trapped that beading thread. Come on, back in. This is the reason why you don't, one of the reasons why you don't do it very tight. There we go. So that's now secure. We'll undo that. Clip there. Then do the same the other side. First you have to take it off the reel. I have to say our new beading thread is absolutely fantastic. I love it. Best beading thread we've ever had. So feed it through the jump ring. I think I prefer it even to the flex right. I know. It's fabulous, Chloe. It really is fabulous. Pop that on the jump ring. If you want to do two separate jump rings and then connect it to one, you can. Crimp it down. That can then attach to the clasp, and then we're going to slide that through there. Oh, take your other end off. Be very careful that you snip the right end. That's a very common mistake, and we've all done it. And then you slide it down, do the same the other side, and then you're going to have your chainmail on your bracelet. Play around with the sizes, play around with your sizes and the bead sizes and get one that really works for you. For me personally, I would like that to be a little bit smaller on the inside, or the other easiest thing is to make these beads a bit bigger, and then it will stretch it out a little bit more. If you stretch it out that way, it will automatically, the beads will automatically stretch it that way. So those are a little bit small, but it will work with whatever you would. Just play around with whichever you want. So hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you're all going to have a go at chainmail, and if you do already do chainmail, send them through to the Wall of Fame. Don't forget, if you enter the Wall of Fame and you win, you get 100% credited to your account, and if you get runner-up, you get £50, and you can enter every week. So you can do one entry a week for as often as you like. So even if you've won, you can still re-enter. Send in your entries, please do. studio@jewellerymaker.com. If you want anything, have a look on the website on www.jewellerymaker.com. And also we have a JewelleryMaker Share Your Makes page. Send in there. It's a lovely community. You can ask questions, post pictures. We try and post things before we do a show. And also, if you want to catch up with me, it's JM Guest Designer Alison Tarry. So have a lovely Christmas. Check out what's still on the website to buy and send in all your makes. Bye.
Hello everyone, it's Mark here. I'm here to tell you about my 12 o'clock hour on Tuesday the 19th of December. I've got the most beautiful showcase of marble agate. 3 kits, blues, reds and neutrals. They are absolutely beautiful. And for my demonstration, I'm going to be resurrecting one of my all-time favourite techniques, the wire macrame herringbone brangle. So that's Tuesday the 19th of December. Join myself and Eleanor from 8 o'clock. Can't wait to see you. Hello everyone, it's Mark here. I'm here to tell you about my 9 o'clock hour on the show of Tuesday the 19th of December. I'm going to be showcasing one of the most beautiful gemstones I think I've ever had the pleasure of using on the show, fossil jasper. We've got 3 kits, and each kit contains 3 beautiful strands and an amazing findings pack. And for the demonstration, I'm going to show you my foolproof way of knotting in between your gemstones absolutely perfectly every single time using 2 cords or threads. So that's this Tuesday, the 19th of December. Join myself and Eleanor and the team from 8 o'clock. You will not want to miss this show.